Welcome back to my kitchen. Tonight I'm going to be making some soup, actually some ham and bean soup. I started this because I actually have some leftover ham from a honey baked ham that we had over the holidays. I froze it and I decided, you know what, let's make it. It's cold outside and I'd like some soup. We also have, I've already chopped up some of our vegetables. You can see peppers, celery, carrots, onions. And I also actually had some kale. The recipe doesn't call for kale, but let's boost up the nutrients. So I cut up this kale and put it in. And it'll melt down significantly, but it'll really boost up the nutrients. One thing I want to show you is the beans I'm going to be using, which I absolutely love this. It's called Red Mill Veggie Soup Mix. And I like it because it's all natural. It has green and yellow split peas, barley, lentils, and alphabet pasta bits made from whole wheat flour, spinach, and tomato. I like it because you don't have to soak it overnight or anything like that. You just cook it in with the rest of the soup. I have a cup of it that goes into the soup, and it has the pasta in it so that we're going to be able to have our grain, our meat, and our vegetables all in one beautiful, delicious soup. And what I'm going to start with next is I'm going to be sauteing the onions and the garlic together with a little bit of spray pan cooking oil. Okay, the first thing we're going to do is saute some garlic. We're going to use the cooking spray in here. Put the garlic first. Ooh, nice and hot. And then we're going to put in the onions from our vegetable medley. Get that going. Okay, I'm all done sauteing the onions and the garlic. And the next thing I'm going to do is put in the broth and the rest of the ingredients, except for the lemon juice. Put the broth, and now I'm putting in the rest of the vegetables. And add the pepper, the bay leaf, the ham, the peas and pasta, the kale. This will be a little bit messier. And like I said, this will just wilt down. It's mainly water. It'll add so much nutrient to the soup, you just won't believe it. And taste. It's just delicious. And last but not least, the diced tomatoes. And you notice I get the kind that is no salt added. I did not add salt to this recipe either. It does call for it. I figure you can add it at the table. And just remember, this recipe will also be on our website along with all the other recipes you've seen so far. How easy was that? Now we just wait for all of it to kind of mix and meld together. Now you've got your grain, you've got your veggies, you've got your delicious meat. Easy breezy meal, and so nutritious and so healthy and low calorie. You can have a lot of soup for very little calorie. Now I'm going to show you the trick that I use for fresh herbs all season long. Okay, this recipe also calls for herbs. It calls for basil, oregano, thyme, and parsley. And I'm going to show you what I do to put fresh herbs in all of my recipes all year round. I have thyme that I have outside my garden. I have parsley out in my garden. I have basil out in my garden. And I have oregano out in my garden. The thing is, during the summer, you have all those spices that you want and then some. So what I do is I cut those spices and herbs and put them in baggies. And I put them in there and freeze them so that you can see the color is still here. This one happens to be thyme, and you're able to just crunch it up and pull it out. This is oregano. This is my parsley. And this is my basil. So I'm going to show you I can have fresh herbs in this soup, which will just be delicious. It calls for a 1/4 cup of parsley. Put that in there. It calls for, and I always crush it up. It's so easy, you don't even have to chop. I mean, the beautiful thing, oh, you should smell this basil. It smells like I picked it today. It's so good. And there's no secret to it. You just pick it, wash it, throw it in a bag, and off it goes. It calls for a tablespoon of crushed basil. Look at that. Oh, so good. I might put a little more. I love it. And then it calls for a tablespoon of oregano. I'm going to put some of that in there. All from my, oh my, such a good medley. And finally, the thyme. And that's my favorite, is because all you do is crush it, and you can see that you don't have to pick it off the vines. It all kind of crumbles up so that here are the leaves at the bottom, and all those woody sticks are there. So you just move that away, go for the leaves, and there's your thyme. So that is my favorite way to have beautiful, fresh, yummy herbs in our soup. And I'm going to put these in right now. Okay, let me put these beautiful herbs in this soup. You can see they kind of steamed because they were frozen, but boy, they won't be frozen for long. And just kind of smash them into this soup. And oh, this is, oh, you should smell all of this. It's just absolutely scrumptious. Look at that. Doesn't that look delicious? It's absolutely spectacular. Now I'll just put my top on here, but I want you to look at it one more time. I kind of just stuff down that kale and put it in, and I'll get this top, and I'll let it sit for about an hour and just soak up all the juices and nutrients, and it'll just be delicious, and then we can taste it. Okay, so here we are, and we've got the final product, which is the soup. You can see the picture on the website as well, because I really can't put it out so that you can see it so well because it'll pour out. But we're going to go ahead and taste it and tell you what we think. Oh, delicious. Absolutely fantastic. You can taste all the vegetables and nutrients. This is really a great winter meal.